if you're looking for covert operations, Obama is the covert operation. It is a postmodern coup. It's based on the Orange Revolution in Kiev, the Roses Revolution in Tiflis, Georgia. These other things that were going on during the Bush-Cheney years, the National Endowment for Democracy, the left wing of the CIA, the foundations, the Soros, Brzezinski, human rights, international crisis group, left cover world. See, if you're so focused on the top-down stuff, do you think the police state is coming from some building in Washington, D.C.? It's wrong. It's coming from a gutter near you with Obama fanatics coming up out of the sewer and coming after you with the connivance of the police.
Well, don't you think that they've also kind of set up an indoctrination? I mean, he's talked about the 1.5 million youth brigade. I mean, do you think he's going to use more of the bureaucracies, maybe Homeland Security or something like that, to bring these into existence, to indoctrinate the youth? I mean, that'll take some time, don't you think, Webster? At least a couple of years.
But this is the Obama regime. He's got 5 volunteer organizations. He's got a Homeland Security Corps, a Green Corps. That's great. If they decide that you're a polluter, they'll come and burn you out and lynch you or do something like this. So the whole logic of Obama is stuff like, in Mussolini had this youth movement called Balilla, this kind of stuff. Nobody knows these things in the U.S. anymore. That's one of the problems, is that, fascism, the early phase of fascism is now 75 to 90 years behind us. So there's basically nobody left who remembers it. And the people who purport to write about fascism don't tell you. But the idea of having, mass organizations of the government, from somebody who comes into power with a movement of fanatics, that's fascism. That's Mussolini. And it's not the conservative, reactionary kind of stuff with Bush. Further example, one of the criticisms that Obama has of Bush is he attacks him from the right. He says, Bush, after 9/11, you should have decreed crushing austerity. You could have cut the living standard by 1/3 or 1/2 and given that money to Wall Street under the cover of the war on terror. You didn't do that, Bush. That's what we're going to do. And he does it with left cover. Not bin Laden, not Al-Qaeda, but again, the polar bears, global warming.
I listened to his acceptance speech, actually, when I was driving back to New York. It was on NPR or something, and he mentioned bin Laden, and you're right, he mentioned going into Pakistan and wherever it took him. Absolutely.